some of the things you want to do from the very start when you're planning the requirements for the application and design is what will be the security requirements for the application. So maybe if you have like data flows, if you have user stories that say what permissions should be available to the user, different trust boundaries that are mapped out and documented. If you start thinking of the functionality that the applications can contain and what type of data it can contain, you can start thinking around the security requirements that it might have, and keep in consideration the regulatory compliances. Like if you have to comply to GDPR, they have certain obligations that a user can request their data or they can delete their data. So keep those things in mind when building the application. The data classification guidelines. So you might have data that's sensitive. You might have data that's non-sensitive. So classifying the data, sensitive, super sensitive, non-sensitive, and then seeing what protections are around that, the sensitive data and the stuff that needs to be protected. Of course, developer security guidelines is a great one. A developer can't know how to prevent a security issue if he doesn't know about it in the first place, or they don't know about it in the first place. So giving them certain training to recognize and prevent these issues, or even guidelines on how they should build the application, that can really help them be very security conscientious of when they're putting this together. Of course, when you're designing the application, you should do threat modeling. Threat modeling, basically, you want to consider, it's kind of like a thought exercise. We want to consider who the potential attackers could be, so who would be interested in attacking your application, what the potential assets you have to protect in the application, what were the crown jewels, what the different threat scenarios could be. So how can they attack your application, and what their risk is if they do successfully attack it. And based on those, you can start anticipating what controls you need in place to prevent those attacks from succeeding. Of course, that kind of ties in with the risk assessment. Again, reviewing the security requirements for the application, and this can be done for the architectural requirements, security guidelines. So again, the ASVS is a great document for this. You can go through the ASVS, and it has all these requirements that it expects the application to meet. So if you're aware of these before you start building the application, you can start taking those into consideration and building it so it's designed in a way that meets the ASVS standards. Secrets management, this is always an issue that comes up. How do we protect our secrets? So OWASP Vancouver just gave a great talk on secrets management. It's available on their YouTube. I'm not going to go into detail on this one, but you can check out that video if you want to learn more about protecting secrets.